so scary.
Oh. It's been a hot minute. Whew. So we've got two things that we want to get accomplished in today's video. The first thing is we got to fix these tires. And the second thing is I want to give you guys a review of this Rough Country 7-inch lift kit. About a month in, maybe 3-4 weeks into ownership. And he's squirting something. What are you squirting?
Bubble liquid.
Bubble. So quick background on the tire situation and what's going on with that. So these are Radar Renegade 37 1250. Yeah, 37 1250 20. My brother put these tires on the truck before I bought it, and they've got some really uneven tread wear, so we're gonna fix that. So the problem is, when I bought this truck, it was completely cranked to fit these 37s. So the torsion keys were just maxed out. What that did is it caused the front tires to ride on this outside tread here. So when you rode in the rain or dirt, you could see that this inside of the tire wasn't getting any rain or dirt on it. Completely dry, meaning it wasn't really touching the ground at all. So the front of this truck was riding on just the outsides of the tires. Ridiculous. So when I put the lift kit on, I had them rotate the fronts to the back and the backs to the front. So now the tires that are on the back are the ones that have this problem, and you might be able to see it here. So see the inside tread, how that's pretty level. And then we go to the outside and you can see it falls off really hard right here. I don't like that. It's a little better shot of it. You can see how it's just completely worn a lot more here. Also, because of that, this inside tread here didn't have much wear at all. But the back tires that I put on the front are worn a lot more, because apparently with a diesel you have to do burnouts, which I don't blame him. I would have probably done the same thing. So now my back tires, part of them are less worn than my front tires. So we're gonna try to even these tires out today. Perfect example, I just drove my truck in my driveway, and you can see the outside of this tread is not touching at all. It's horrible. Then you go to the front tire, and you can see we're nice and even. All my treads are wet. Nothing a good burnout can't fix. Just got to wear the rest of the tread down to match the uneven part. All right, now that that's taken care of, on to the real purpose of this video, which is reviewing the Rough Country 7-inch lift for the 2020-2021 Silverado HD. So I bought this lift about a month ago, got it installed, and I've got about 2,000 miles on it so far, maybe 1,500 miles on it so far. And the purpose of this video is just to give you guys a quick overview of the system and then my initial thoughts and review after a month of owning it. Before we get too far into the review, I will address the typical Rough Country hater that is going to comment on this video inevitably. I have seen nothing wrong with these lifts other than a bunch of dudes trash talking on the internet about how they're trash and blah 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 blah. I have not seen any complaints from people who actually own these lifts, aside from your typical quality issues that will happen every once in a while that haunt all the major lifts. I've seen BDS, I've seen Cognito, I've seen FTS, I've seen all these lift companies that have reviews. You go on their website, you can see bad reviews for any of them. So all the haters that are just commenters that just want to talk about how they don't like the lift personally are relevant to me. So the first thing we'll address with this is the rust that people talk about. Rough Country lifts rust. Oh, you get 500 miles on this lift and it's going to rust. Have you ever heard of surface rust? So I'll show it to you. So this right here is a machined part from Rough Country. They cast these spindles and then they machine this surface right here. It gets surface rust. That's part of the reason these lifts are only $1,600 instead of $3,000 or more for some of the other lifts. They just don't paint this. I'm actually going to tape it off and spray paint it flat black. No big deal. Simple fix. Same thing right down there. Anytime there's a bolted surface like that, they machine it flat. You get a little surface rust. If you guys understand anything about machining, surface rust happens all the time. It's not a big deal. You got to catch it, you got to prevent it from getting worse, but just seeing a little bit of rust there is literally the only problem with this. And if you have a problem with that, then you can pay $1,000 extra for them to paint it instead of you painting it. Most of these big builds anyway, they go and get them powder coated, so it's really irrelevant to begin with, because you're not even leaving it whatever it's painted. You're going and having it custom painted or powder coated before you put it on the truck. So the ride quality. People say that rough country lifts ride like trash. I can tell you that this lift rides just fine. The shocks, I don't know about yet. Some people say they're not that great. I just think it's probably a lower end shock. And to be honest, the factory shocks didn't ride super great either. Before I can really comment on the shocks and how they ride, I've got to address my wheels. When I bought this truck, the wheels that were on it, sorry, the tires that were on it, Radar Renegades RTs, which is like a radial, or what do they call it? I can't remember. It's like a crossover between a mud terrain and an all-terrain. They were actually out of balance and haven't gotten them balanced yet. Guy couldn't get me in, so we got an appointment next Tuesday actually to go and get these tires balanced. So as soon as that happens, then I can comment on the shocks. But for now, I'm getting a little bit of a wobble, but I can tell it's in the tires, because it used to be in my steering wheel before I put the lift on, and then when I put the lift on, I had to move the tires to the back just to see if it would move, and sure enough, it moved, and now it's kind of in my seat. So that tells me that it's a balance problem with these tires. As far as the quality of these parts, I've got a couple videos I posted of the install happening, and you can see all the parts on a bench. Really good quality stuff. I looked at the welds look nice. The plates were nice and thick. There was no real thin stuff on there. Sometimes this truck looks really good in the background. Anyway, yeah, really good quality parts. You guys can check out my channel if you want to see that video. I've got 3 videos of the actual install process, and it went really smooth. There were no issues that we had. I will tell you, the only thing, if you're planning on going with this kit, be prepared, because your front cross member has to get cut. That's something that, see if you can, they have to cut your front cross member there where your front diff attaches. They cut that way they can lower the diff, and then they put the rough country cross member in its place, just like that. So be prepared if you're a little bit worried about cutting up a brand new truck. You probably shouldn't be lifting it 7 inches anyway. On the front of the truck here, this front drop plate, no issues with it. And then of course they give you the skid plate for your front diff. Spindles, new brackets for your shock, new brackets for your torsion bars. Then we jump over to the back, and of course it's a block. And then they give you a relocation bracket for your bump stop. That way your bump stop has a similar travel to where it was. They also give you all the brackets needed to move your brake lines and all of your cabling. That way it's not stretched. And then of course the shocks that come with the kit. As far as the geometry with this kit, they were able to align this truck after they were done installing it. They were able to get it right back into factory alignment specs. So got a straight steering wheel, no pulling, no bouncing, shaking of any sort, other than the tire issue, which I'll be addressing Tuesday, and then I'll post an update on that. Only thing I will say is I kind of want to experiment with the shocks. I'll probably be changing the shocks out pretty soon. I'm not sure what to go with, but that's probably the only thing about this kit that I think I will change. And like I said, I'm not sure yet. I gotta wait until I get these tires balanced, and then if I still have some vibration or a little bit of bounciness, which I guess is kind of the thing with a lower end shock, is you don't get as much dampening as you could. So that may be something that we change in the future, but other than that, rocking it. Getting the tires balanced is only a temporary thing though, because I do plan on going with the different wheel and tire setup here in the future. I'm not sure what I'm going to go with yet. I had a 2412 35 1250 on my 1500 Silverado a couple years back, but obviously we can't go back down to a 35. We got to stick with a 37, if not bigger. We just got to do a little bit of research and see what'll fit. So stay tuned for that video. We'll have that one coming soon. We got more last fit bulbs to put on this truck. I didn't think it was possible either, but I've still got fog light bulbs. I've still got high beam bulbs. I've still got cargo light and third brake light bulbs to go on this truck. If you guys haven't already, be sure and hit my channel up and check out the rest of the videos. We got tons of videos on this truck as well as other truck builds, motorcycle videos for the old 600 here. Bunch of cool stuff. So check it out. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I got to get back to prepping my truck because it's supposed to snow tonight in Alabama. So we got to find our plug-in, get this diesel heated up. We'll see you guys. Thanks for watching. Take care.